I am a general chatterbox today. That's how we're rolling. Hello there, I'm Kristen, also known as Voolenvine, here on my YouTube channel and on Instagram, on Ravelry, and pretty much everywhere else on the on the interwebs. And as always, I'm so happy that you're taking some time out of your day to chat about all the knitting, all the sewing, all the making, or whatever crafty rabbit hole I happen to be diving down this week. And yes, it is a sunny day here in Brooklyn, Bushwick, Brooklyn, New York. It's been quite rainy these past few days, so I'm really happy to finally see the sun poking its head out. And spring is, of course, in full swing because the allergies are still, the struggle's still real, my friends. But anyway, enough about the weather. I am so happy to be hanging out with you this week. It's going to be a little bit of a short episode because I don't have too much works in progress to share with you, but I do have some completed objects and some projects that are almost done to share with you. But before I get into all that, a couple of announcements. We have, as always, our year-long knit-alongs that are currently happening, such as the Box of Socks knit-along and the Year of the Garment knit-along. If you'd like to hop on the bandwagon for those, I highly suggest that you hop on over to the Voolenvine Ravelry group. It's the place to be if you want to chat about all things about this channel, partake in the conversation, and join in on any make-alongs that are happening, especially the Box of Socks and the Year of the Garment knit-along. And then there's also the Uncomfort Zone KAL, which is only running until June 1st. So there's still time to join in with that one. And I'm not going to get into detail here because it's a lot of details, but if any of those titles pique your interest, I highly suggest you check them out. Or if anything, just join the group because it's a lot of fun. Lots of lively conversation happening over there and inspiration as well. As far as other announcements go, next week I will not be recording a podcast because it is going to be Memorial Day weekend here in the United States the following weekend. And Dennis and I have cheekily planned a little quick getaway for ourselves. I know we just got back from Paris, but it's one of those vacations where you kind of need a vacation from a vacation, if you know what I mean, where it's like all walking, all sightseeing, and then you come home and you're just like pretty much dead to the world. So I think we decided we needed to treat ourselves to a nice little sunny beach vacation, kind of get out of the city. So we are going to Jamaica. Yeah, totally last minute plans, just going for a long weekend and hopefully soaking up some nice sun rays and vitamin D and all that good stuff. Anyway, a little bit more about that in the Blather segment where I chat about life stuff, but just a heads up, there will be no podcast and no shop update. So, you know, I will talk about that during the episode, but just to kind of give you guys a little heads up at the top of the episode, that's what's happening. So, and I'm trying to think what else. Yes, Mother's Day was last weekend. Happy Mother's Day to all the awesome, wonderful moms out there. Before I get into what I've been making this week, just a quick word from my wonderful sponsor, Skillshare. Skillshare is an online learning community with thousands of classes in design, business, tech, and more, even sewing and the fiber arts. I love learning new things when it comes to knitting, sewing, photography, or whatever crafty rabbit hole I happen to be diving down. And because I know you love learning new things too, I partnered up with Skillshare and they are offering my viewers 2 months free to try their platform. So give Skillshare a go and learn something new. Just click on the link in the description box below, entering the code at checkout, and enjoy. And thanks, Skillshare. And welcome back. All right, works in progress. I still have not finished my Birds of a Feather shawl. That is still on the needles, but fret not. I'm going to get back at it, especially on vacation, because it's one of those projects that are just stockinette back and forth. I foresee lots of progress happening on that on the plane. So yeah, Birds of a Feather, it will be done. I will finish it. But yeah, unfortunately, I did not put a dent in it this week, but I did put a dent in my Soldotna pullover. By the way, thank you for correcting my pronunciation. As always, I do have a tendency to butcher all the names on this podcast, so you know, it's always appreciated when you guys reach out to me and let me know how I should be pronouncing things, and I'm probably still going to be butchering it, but I've made progress on my Soldotna pullover, crop I should say, Soldotna Crop by Caitlin Hunter. I finished the body. It is done, and you guys, I am so in love with this. This was such a quick knit and so addictive to knit as well, because I find with a lot of color work that has a lot of changes in the pattern, where it's not just constant monotonous same all the way around, where there's a lot of change. I find those to be very, very addictive, potato chippy, and intuitive, so to speak. It holds your attention, at least mine, because I definitely get bored very easily. So the fact that there's a lot happening in this yoke over here definitely held my attention, and I just wanted in it one more row, and that's exactly what happened here. So finished the yoke, I want to say, in about 3 days, which is crazy sauce. Then I knit the body. And the body actually calls for 5 repeats of this flea stitch, I want to say. And I actually did 7 repeats, 7.5, I think. I don't know. I just knit until I thought that it hit me at a really good point on my waist, because I actually have a longer torso and shorter legs, so I definitely knit my crop. Well, I still wanted to maintain a crop look on the body. I knew I'd have to knit a little bit more just to kind of compensate for my long torso and for it to hit at that point on my waist. So I added a little bit extra length, and yeah, I tried it on, and it hits me perfectly where I need it to. So I will stand up so you can see this, but yeah. I know it's going to grow a little bit more because this is a super wash yarn, so I anticipate it's probably going to grow maybe like another inch or so, no more than that. But as you can see, my waist is exactly like right here, so it can accommodate like another inch growth, if that makes any sense. So, but yeah, and I'm trying to think what else. I am on Sleeve Island, and the pattern, I am modifying the pattern to have long sleeves. The pattern basically says, once you're done knitting the body, knit ribbing, pick up the stitches along the sleeves, knit a couple rows of ribbing, and you're done. Bob's your uncle. However, I gravitate towards longer sleeves. For me, it doesn't make sense to be wearing a sweater with short sleeves. Because my arms are the first things to get very cold. So if I'm going to be wearing a sweater, it might as well have long sleeves. Otherwise, what's the point? I don't know, my own personal brand of crazy. So I am going to be knitting long sleeves, and that will require me to have more yarn, thankfully. I have a lot of Grimm in my stash. I guess I should talk about the yarn. This is my hand-dyed yarn, Voolenvine yarns, on my Smitten DK base, which is a superwash merino nylon cashmere blend, like buttered kittens, as I always say, which, because it's DK, is another reason why it knit up so quickly. Obviously, I'm going to need more yarn than the pattern requests, so thankfully I have a lot more Grimm, which is pretty much the main body color of this garment, is Grimm, my shaded solid black colorway. This colorway up here in particular is Revenge of the Harpsichord. This rose gold blush color is Courtesan. And then not so new, but fairly new, is Deadly Nightshade, which is this, let me see. Yeah, it's kind of like this blue teal speckled shade over here, and it plays so well with all of these colorways. It just makes me so happy. It almost kind of looks like, someone mentioned, and I totally agree, it kind of reminds me of kind of like not rusted brass, or copper, I want to say. When copper turns like that green color, that's kind of the feel that I get with these colorways all together. And I think that's called patina. I could be wrong. I believe it's patina. That's what happens when copper turns like that green shade, like the Statue of Liberty. Yeah, anyway, I digress, but that's, I don't know, it does remind me of, I don't know, like this Byzantine kind of like jewelry. I don't know what you want to call it, but it just has like this very kind of like medieval feel to it, and I'm so in love with this. So in love with this sweater, guys. I could wax poetic about it forever. Again, highly recommend this pattern. It's a wonderful pattern by Caitlin Hunter. I don't know how she cranks out these patterns so quickly, but I feel like every one of her patterns is just so awesome. But anyway, the neckline, I want to say, I don't know how she got that wide neckline. I did not do a swatch. I was naughty. Did not do a swatch, but I used the needles. I did look on Ravelry to kind of gauge, what the happy medium of the needle choices were, and I did stick to the given needle sizes. And I don't know, it just, I mean, it fits me, it fits fine. It's just a little, you know, snug around the neck. Not too snug, so it's just perfect. I think if it was any more snug, I'd be a little uncomfortable, but I was kind of hoping for like a wider kind of boat neck look. But anyway, I didn't get that. My fault again for not swatching, but yeah, at the same time, it fits me, so I'm not complaining. And I'm trying to think what else I want to say about this. I think that is it for this week. Otherwise, I'm on Sleeve Island, and these are knitting up super quick, guys. I'm using a US size 5, 3.75 millimeter to knit Magic Loop in the round. And I think, you know, these arms, as I always say, like arms are always a bit snug on me, so I don't do any shaping, and I think these are just going to fit me. My arms are about 11 inches in circumference, and I think these are just gonna fit, so they're not gonna be sausage casings, but I probably should try it on at some point just to make sure. But anyway, that is my Soldotna Crop tee, and hopefully I will have something finished to share with you next week, or the week after, I should say. Yeah, but anyway. Yay! So that is it for the knitting content. I guess I'm going to move along to the sewing content, although I haven't decided what other projects I want to bring with me on the trip. I am bringing my Soldotna. I am going to bring my Birds of a Feather. I feel like I should cast on a new pair of socks. I feel that needs to happen, just because you always need a pair of socks to work on. That's just knitter's creed, whatever you want to call it. But anyway, more on that later. I'm sure I'll post about it on the Instagrams. But anyway, sewing. I'm wearing a finished object. I posted about it on my Instagram stories because we are in the throes of Me Made May, which it happens about once a year in the month of May. Everyone joins in on Instagram and posts their handmade garments, hand sewn, hand knit, whatever you want to call it, and they show off all their wonderful, beautiful handmade garments and items that they've made to wear. I cannot word today, guys. I don't know what's up with that. I think I've had way too much caffeine this morning. So if I am a general chatterbox today, that's how we're rolling. Anyway, yeah, more about what I am wearing. I am wearing the Violette dress, or Robe Violette by République du Chiffon, a independent French pattern company. So I will stand up so you can see I'm wearing a not me-made belt with it, but yeah, it's just a very, very simple, I want to say summer dress, sundress, and you're not going to be able to see it from here, but it is a tiered dress. It has a tiered skirt, so 3 tiers of gathered fabric, so it's very girly, very feminine, and then here it's just a very simple, you know, drop sleeve kind of dress. I don't know how well you're going to be able to see this, but it is a black sheer chiffon, and it has this really beautiful kind of cross-stitch floral bouquet motif on it, I want to say. So yeah, that, I don't know, I was just, this has been sitting in my fabric.com cart for eons and eons, and I finally pulled the trigger, and I want to say chiffon, I'm gonna sit down so you can see my face. So I want to say chiffon is generally a very tricky fabric, especially for me to work with, because it is sheer, it is slippery. However, this motif definitely adds a bit of structure and weight to the fabric, so that definitely helped me out when it came out to cutting the fabric and sewing it. So I had that going for me, and this is the very first time that I successfully executed a baby rolled hem, although it could have been a little bit better. You are not going to be able to see this at all, but it's a labor of love, I want to say. But you stitch about an inch from the raw edge of the hem, and then you fold it over, and then you stitch another row, so you tack it down, and then you trim the excess fabric, and then you roll it over again, and then sew it again. I know that probably made absolutely no sense, but yeah, it's like a three-step process to creating a baby rolled hem, if that makes any sense. So yeah, so that was a plus for me. So the fashion fabric is a sheer chiffon, and then underneath I lined it with a very simple cotton lawn, I think it is. Yeah, I believe it's a cotton lawn, just plain black cotton lawn, very light and very airy. And if you want a tip for choosing linings for specific patterns. I learned this from a craftsy class I took a long time ago with Allison Smith, and I believe it was like couture techniques. And basically what you want to do is, I'll stand up so you can see this, when you're auditioning linings and fabrics together, you want to lay them on top of each other. So I have the lining here, and then you put the fashion fabric on top, and you just like let it sit on your hand and you feel it. And if it has like a nice weighted drape to it, you know it's like a match made in heaven. It's just perfect. They go together, and they're gonna, you know, work well together. And if you feel any kind of like stiffness or something awkward happening, you know, maybe it's a sign that you should probably, you know, look for something a little bit more suitable, you know, a lining fashion fabric match, if that makes sense. So yeah, thankfully the chiffon and the lawn work very well together. So yay, perfect. And what else do I want to say about this pattern? Most importantly, as I mentioned, République du Chiffon is an independent French pattern company, and a lot of their patterns are in French, and very few of them have been translated into English, including the Violette dress. And the reason why I had confidence to sew the Violette dress, even though it was completely in French, is because I did sew another one of their patterns, a less involved pattern. I forget the name of it, but it was a simple top that I sewed. Really, really sweet, and I love this top. I can't wait for the weather to get warmer so I can wear it again. I'll try and post a link to it in the I'll name it in the down bar, but with the help of Google Translate and some previous sewing knowledge and the diagrams, I was able to make it happen and pull it off. And yeah, so I said, if I can do that, I can do this, even though it's a little bit more involved. And I'm not gonna lie, I did hit some walls with it, although I did use Google Translate, previous sewing knowledge, and the diagrams. The diagrams I found to be a little tricky. They were clear, but I got stumped at a certain point, and then I realized I did certain things out of order. I should have done them in a different way, and I kind of had to fudge things a little bit. Thankfully, black fabric can hide a multitude of sins. So, but nothing, you know, like terrible. It was, you know, just like little fudges that I had to do on the inside. But anyway, you're not even able to see it from the outside. The other thing I want to say is that their pattern pieces don't come with a seam allowance. So yeah, that was something that I had to add in afterwards, and which is a little bit annoying, but thankfully it wasn't too much work. It all worked out fine. Although I do want to say that if I make this dress again, I think I want to go down a size. I made the size 34 and I should have made the size 32. I think the smallest, I made the one size up from the smallest size, but I should have done the smaller size because it is, I will say it is a little big. Without the belt on, I feel like I'm wearing a potato sack, but I think that's how it's supposed to go. But the belt solves that issue, so I'm not complaining. But I think if I do make this dress again, I'm just going to omit adding the seam allowances and just maybe doing a, yeah, because there's a lot of extra fabric in here. It's a very, I feel like it's swimming on me ever so slightly, but nothing, you know, not too much. So it's okay. I'm still gonna get a lot of wear out of this. I already have this week, so there's that. But yeah, I think I'm gonna try to finagle the pattern a little bit in order to downsize it. And I'm trying to think what else I want to say about this dress. I think that is it. Yeah, so yeah, that is my Violette dress by République du Chiffon. I have another pattern by them that I am hoping to sew eventually. I don't know, is it here? Yeah, let me see. So this is the Violette dress, the one that I'm wearing right now. And yeah, this is the other pattern that I have. I don't know if I have any suitable fabric in my stash for this. I might have to go fabric shopping for something like this. But yeah, it's so summery and so Edwardian, so to speak. So yes, yeah. So those are my makes for this week. I'm hoping to get a little bit more sewing done over the weekend. I did take a break from sewing my corset last weekend because I was so excited to just make this dress. I've been waiting and waiting for weeks for it to arrive, and it was here, and I'm like, I'm making it this weekend, I don't care. So yeah, hopefully I will finish my corset next week, and I will have that to share with you on the next podcast because I really, really, really want that in my wardrobe. I'm building my historical wardrobe, you guys. It's happening. But anyway, that is my sewing for this week, and I'm trying to think. Yeah, so hopefully more sewing this weekend. I do want to sew a little summer something for vacation. I just don't know what, but you know, I'm sure I will Instagram about it all weekend. So, you know, TBD. So that is the content of the episode. I've been very monogamous this week, which I guess is a good thing. I don't know. It means that I'm making progress on projects, which means I might have this done by next week. We shall see. But anyway, that is it for the episode. I am going to move along to the Blather segment, a segment where I chat about what's been happening in my life, should you care to stick around. But first, just a little heads up about my shop update. Again, this is going to be the last update before I take off for vacation. So no shop update next week, but I will be back the following week with another update. And for this update, I will be having lots of kits in stock. Again, I will be having more kits to knit the Birds of a Feather shawl by Andrea Mowry in the I Am No Bird colorway, the colorway that I'm knitting my version in, along with other colorways that will be in stock. And by popular demand, I will also have Soldotna Crop kits available because you guys have been asking me repeatedly to have kits to make my version of the Soldotna Crop. So yes, those will be available in this palette. And each kit will come with 5 skeins, enough yarn to knit Caitlin's original version, the crop version with the short sleeves. If you do intend to knit longer sleeves or a longer torso and require more yarn, you will have to purchase additional skeins. I cannot add skeins to the kits. The kits come as they are. 2 skeins of Grimm, 1 skein of Courtesan, 1 skein of Revenge of the Harpsichord, and 1 skein of Deadly Nightshade. So if you do require more yardage, you will have to purchase those extra skeins separately. But fret not, I will have extra skeins on hand. So yes, I hope you guys are excited for that. If you would like more information about what is going to be in the shop update, more info on the kits, please do sign up for my newsletter. All the information is in there, and that's where you can get information about what yarns, what colorways, what bases, etc. are going to be in each update. And you can do that by going to my website, voolenvineyarns.com, clicking on newsletter, entering your info, and every week you will receive a newsletter letting you know all that good stuff. And just a heads up, I kindly request, if you do receive the newsletter and you are wondering, I didn't see that base listed in the newsletter, and then you email me asking if that base is going to be in the shop update, my friends, if it is not in the newsletter, it is not going to be in the update. Sometimes I do slip up, but you know, for the most part, if you don't see it in the newsletter, it's not going to be in the update. And if you are wondering if a colorway or base is going to be in an update and you're not subscribed to the newsletter, subscribe to the newsletter because please know I do receive a lot of emails. So it helps me out if I just put all the information in one source and help you get that information in a very timely, easy, efficient, productive manner, if that makes sense. So yes, that said, all right, I hope you guys can make the update. Thank you so much again for everybody who is interested in my yarns. It makes me so happy. And yeah, so, okay, I am gonna move along to the Blather segment, life stuff. And yes, as I mentioned, Dennis and I are going on vacation, very muchly needed. I cannot wait to park my bum on a beach and stare aimlessly out into an ocean, have some knitting, have some wine, and maybe some cocktails. Who knows? I just need to relax because, yeah. As far as other things go, I'm trying to think. I'm trying to do some spring cleaning in my craft room. I have things everywhere. Like, it looks very, very nice behind me right now, but all around me there's just clutter. I have all the creative juices have been flowing, and when that happens, just all my books are out, all of my yarn is out, all of my fabric is out. It's a nightmare. So I've got to tidy up in here, just a little bit. And I don't know if you can see that candle back there, but I took advantage of a sale that was happening on Bath & Body Works and jumped on the French Baguette bandwagon that everyone's been talking about. It does smell like a French baguette, my friends. It is so, so good. It feels like a French bakery in my craft room, which is awesome. Although Dennis almost ruined it for me. He came in here and he goes, "Why does it smell like popcorn?" I'm just like, no, it's not popcorn. It's a French baguette. French baguette. As far as audiobooks, I just started listening, well, not just because I'm plowing through the series at an unbelievable rate because I'm on the 3rd book already, but my friend Tanya told me about this book series by Deanna Raybourn, who is an amazing author. She wrote this book series called, it's the Julia Gray series, but there are 3 books. I started out with Silent in the Grave. I believe the 2nd book is called Silent in the Abbey, or Silent in the, I don't remember the 2nd book, but I'm on the 3rd book. It's called Silent on the Moor, and it takes place during the Victorian era, and it's kind of like a romance mystery novel, I want to say. So yeah, it's really good. She gets into like all the history of Victoriana and like mysteries. It's like a whodunit type of thing. So really, really cool. I love the characters. Highly recommend it if you're into that sort of thing. But yeah, I'm on the 3rd book, and yeah, it's just so good. So yeah, if you are into historical romance dramas, mysteries, that should be right up your alley. And yeah, there's another series that she wrote that I started reading the books and then I kind of let it fall to the wayside. But the Veronica Speedwell mysteries, and those again just so well written. And I will pop a link to them in the down bar if you are ever so inclined to check them out. Okay, guys, I think that is it for this week. Again, if you are in the U.S., happy Memorial Day weekend. I hope you guys have some fun planned, safe travels, and enjoy just a little bit of downtime and extra making time. As always, thank you so much for hanging out with me this week, and I will see you next time. Oh, and if you did enjoy this episode, feel free to like and subscribe below. I put out an episode every Friday, except for next week because I'm going on vacation, but generally every single Friday. So anyway, happy knitting, and I will see you next time. Bye!